And so we challenge the newsrooms also to smell your armpits about the balance with which reportage around wrongdoing is concerned.
I'm going to have to interrupt you, and thank you for your time. And I would like for...
I also do urge SABC to shine a spotlight on the corruption that is going on in the Western Cape, where we don't hear you talking about that. We don't hear you talking about we're fighting this local government election with all our might, with all our history, with all our collected 113 years of experience, and with all our collected experience in governance that nobody else has in this country. We will demonstrate to South Africans that the ANC is committed to the fight against crime and corruption. We will demonstrate, we are demonstrating to South Africans that the ANC is serious about meeting basic needs, or otherwise what is called service delivery. We can only come back here and give you a dossier of a lot of work that our councillors are doing on the ground, including fixing the big cities. eThekwini is not the eThekwini of 2 years ago. Johannesburg is shifting and turning around, fixing Johannesburg,
but
working
at this
with the
stage,
people.
If you'll allow me, just pardon my interruption, the disciplinary and political measures, what...
Welcome back to Heads Up SA. Today we are diving into a heated interview between ANC spokesperson Bhengu and the SABC, where she didn't just defend the ANC, she dragged the mainstream media, accusing them of selective reporting and bias. The SABC journalist questioned Bhengu about the reputational damage the ANC keeps suffering because of corruption cases involving its members. Specifically, the journalist brought up Malusi Gigaba, the ANC MP who's expected to face charges linked to the Transnet corruption case. But Bhengu's response, it wasn't your typical political PR talk. Bhengu brushed off the reputational cost question and confidently said, with all the experience the ANC has, they will win the upcoming municipal elections.
Yes, it is. You talk about corruption and, elections are around the corner. In terms of reputational damage, what do you make of all these allegations that we're hearing when we look about the significance of what 2026 will be for the ANC?
Let me start with the latter.
Yes.
We are going to be fighting this local government election with all our might, with all our history, with all our collected 113 years of experience, and with all our collected experience in governance that nobody else has in this country. We will demonstrate to South Africans that the ANC is committed to the fight against crime and corruption. We will demonstrate, we are demonstrating to South Africans that the ANC is serious about meeting basic needs, or otherwise what is called service delivery.
On the question of corruption, Bhengu doubled down, referencing what Fikile Mbalula told Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi recently. The ANC does have an integrity committee and is dealing with cases through its own internal processes.
What do you, as the ANC, consider appropriate for ANC members facing serious corruption allegations? Because, you speak about the step aside, and we're seeing these big names coming to the fore. What do you consider NEC members facing serious corruption allegations?
Well, we have the Integrity Commission that is doing its work, and it does its work quietly and makes pronouncements. We have a disciplinary policy in the ANC that is guided by our constitution, but we have to follow that due process because you also don't want to be litigated when you work outside of your constitution.
Bhengu went on the offensive. She accused the mainstream media of being strong PR specialists, only interested in pushing anti-ANC narratives. She said the media is quick to headline anything involving the ANC, but when corruption or misconduct happens in other provinces, especially the Western Cape, it barely gets a whisper.
I also do urge SABC to shine a spotlight on the corruption that is going on in the Western Cape, where we don't hear you talking about that. We don't hear you talking about the raids that have taken place in the homes of very senior politicians in the Western Cape that are having their fingers in the till that belongs to the people of the Western Cape. But I'm not there.
I think somebody just did mention some of the corruption
yes,
happening
but I'm not there. We focused on building the organization.
Yeah.
We focused on demonstrating that were serious about service delivery. Go to Mohali City and go and have a look at the work that is being done there. Go to many parts of South Africa. Nelson Mandela Bay, the blue flag is up in the beaches because of their cleanliness being made ready for people to be able to enjoy their festive season. Those are some of the stories that are not being told because there's this narrative that is driven by strong PR specialists that are linked to the establishment. And if when I say, I also do urge SABC to shine a spotlight.
To make her point, Bhengu brought up a recent story where she claimed AfriForum members were caught vandalizing state property. She said every time it's fixed, they vandalize it again. And yet she said, where's the mainstream media now? Why aren't they reporting that story?
The establishment, I'm talking about right-wing formations in our country. Just a few days ago, just if I may, just a few days ago, 2 right-wing activists that belong to AfriForum and Solidarity were arrested in Rustenburg for vandalism of local infrastructure. And apparently they've been doing that for years. So the local government fixes and they vandalize. They were arrested. That story is nowhere in the news.
Then came the line that broke the internet. In frustration with the journalist questioning, Bhengu snapped and said SABC should smell their armpits. Yep, you heard that right. She literally told the national broadcaster to smell their armpits. Social media went wild, some calling it disrespectful, others say she was just keeping it real.
And so we challenge the newsrooms also to smell your armpits about the balance with which reportage around wrongdoing is concerned.
I'm going to have to interrupt you, and thank you for your time. And I would like for...
Now, let's be real. Bhengu's outburst shows the ANC is clearly feeling the heat from continuous corruption headlines, but she also raises a question that hits deeper. Does the media hold other political players to the same standards they hold the ANC? Because love or hate the ANC, it's true that stories about Western Cape corruption, DA-linked controversies, or AfriForum misconduct hardly ever trend like ANC scandals do. So, is the media biased or just doing its job? Either way, Mahlengi Bhengu's interview was a masterclass in political defense, turning a tough question about corruption into a counterattack on media credibility. What do you think? Was Bhengu out of line, or did she expose a double standard in South African journalism? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a breakdown from Heads Up SA.
The Democratic Alliance foresees a future South Africa that is without transformation laws, starting with the triple BEE, is an idea that must be challenged by all democracy-loving people and patriots, many of whom are beneficiaries of this particular policy. We have a lot of excellence. The people are rising in the corporate sector, people who have risen in the public sector as executives, people who have risen, women that have climbed the corporate ladder in the entities as CEOs at ESCOM and elsewhere. Many of those people are proudly beneficiaries of black economic empowerment. And so we will not have a situation where that happens on the part of the ANC.
In other words, because they are saying they are going to be putting in a bill before Parliament, from your side, you are completely against their proposal, or you are prepared to hear them out and say, perhaps we can tweak here and there?
Well, I suppose we are a country that is founded on the culture of dialogue. If the DA was sincere about its intentions, they would be part of the national dialogue process, which they have boycotted and abandoned. But any other platform where dialogue must take place, the ANC is always willing to engage. All I can stress, though, that there will not be a day in South Africa where BEE is scrapped as a legislation. Where there are amendments, I'm certain that, like any other piece of legislation, amendments are acceptable for as long as they do not deviate from the substance of that piece of legislation.